Today, I'm going to be sharing with you how I help my client with Hashimoto's, chronic anemia, severe digestive issues, constipation, and bloating lose weight, eating more food, and getting her health back, all through focusing on healing the gut. And she is actually going to be joining me today. We're going to be going over step by step her training, her diet, her nutrition, and everything we did to help her overcome this autoimmune disorder, heal her gut, get rid of floating, and feel her best self, lose inches after no diet would work for her. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can you share with us a little bit about what your health concerns were, your health conditions before coming to me, and the biggest challenges that you were facing with your health before starting this program?
Okay, so first off, I have Hashimoto's. So getting that diagnosis a few years ago is really what kind of started my health journey. But prior to that, and up until I started talking with you, I feel like I tried every single diet under the sun. I cut calories, I was doing lots of cardio, I did weight training, I did everything, and nothing budged. My weight would not budge. Like sometimes I would maybe drop 1 pound. And I remember doing the Whole30 and gaining weight from that. Like even since my early 20s, I have just always struggled to lose weight. And I think it was part of it was because I had an undiagnosed autoimmune disorder, but nobody would listen to me. Like nobody would listen. I'd be like, hey, like there's something wrong. And just every doctor would just be like, oh, no, you're fine. Like just work out harder. Yeah. And then another issue I have is chronic anemia, which is actually what led me to talk to you, is because a friend sent me a video where you were talking about working with somebody who also had chronic anemia. And I was like, maybe she can help me. Like I was at my wit's end. I think when we had our first conversation, I cried because I was just so emotional of like, I don't know where to go from here. I have tried so hard and I don't see any results. That was really hard. So, and then when I came to you, I was so bloated every single day. It didn't matter what I ate. And I don't eat gluten or dairy because, that gives me stomach issues. And I just did not feel good. I did not feel good at all. And I had no energy. But yeah, after that first call and starting that first week of my diet, my bloating went from a 10 to a 1, which has been insane.
I love it. All of these things going on, how did it affect your life? Because when we have health issues, I mean, it can make us not be social, not want to leave the house.
I definitely had no energy to do anything. Even just like, and with my anemia, even just like sometimes standing in the shower, I would want to sit down because I was that physically exhausted.
Do you think there's anything that triggered these issues in the past that like started?
Um, Hypothyroidism runs in my family, so that kind of wasn't a big surprise that I also got it. But I think it just me trying to I thought once I got my diagnosis and started medicine, I would be fine. But
Yeah.
that really wasn't the case. Like I've been working with somebody who like we really tried to focus on like getting like my meds regulated, and I do my blood work like every 3 months. And I think especially in the last like 2 years, I've just been on this health train trying to like get down to the root of everything and try to do my best. And it just gets so frustrating when you work so hard and you still like can't figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and I think that's like a crazy thing is a lot of people think, okay, if I have thyroid issues, first off, they don't run the right tests. They only test your TSH and your T4. And the true one that, the active form is that T3. So if nothing looks wrong with those, you can go undiagnosed and feel like everything is wrong with you under the sun and not get to the root cause because of that. And then on top of that, we think, okay, if I take the medicine, I'll feel better. But we have to look at why do we have the thyroid? I mean, it could be genetics, it could be through that. But what about the stress? What about the gut? All of these things, like our body is in this state of autoimmune for a reason. And if we don't address that, I mean, you could be on your medication for years and you get the balance of it, but you may not still feel good. You may not still be able to lose the weight. Your gut still hurt. Yeah. So we had a lot of things that we were kind of addressing with you. Do you mind sharing a little bit more about the things you tried before starting the program? I know you talked a little about doctors and Whole 30.
Yeah, I actually prior to getting the only reason I got my diagnosis was because I finally took my health into my own hands and I did a Everlywell hormone test
Okay.
and I did a food sensitivity test and an inflammation test. All I did all of those. And that is what my results came back and was like, "Hey, like your TPO antibodies are really high. You should have this checked." And I was like, "I knew it. I knew it." And I took those to my primary care and she was like, "Oh, yeah, like that is high. Like you do have Hashimoto's." But yeah, diets I've tried. I've done the Whole30 twice. I tried to do a version of keto since I don't do dairy. Um, I have tried an anti-candida diet, which was very, very restrictive. I have done weight training. I've done cardio. I can't even remember all of it right now. But yeah, I've tried so many
At all.
things. Yeah.
And what were your main goals when you were coming to me? I know you had a lot of digestive issues. We had chronic bloating and constipation, then we had the low energy, then we had stress, we had all these things going on. But why specifically you're like, I gotta work with Elizabeth? What was your main goal?
My main goal has actually been fat loss because again, it just seemed like I don't and I don't know other Hashimoto's patients, but like I'm assuming it's like the same thing where it's like no matter what you do, just like it's really hard to lose weight because your hormones are so unregulated and like my fasting insulin runs a little bit higher sometimes. So but main goal has been fat loss and actually getting to the root of my chronic anemia and why my body just does not absorb nutrients like it should.
Yeah. Yeah. And the key too is like, so the way that I look at things, so when you came to me, I'm like, you're not a girl from my 90-day transformation challenge. You need to come to me for the gut because the gut is where we're absorbing and assimilating our nutrients. And what we did with you is we actually did a gut focused protocol and we got to the root cause with our gut. So I do something called like a 4R protocol. We removed all the common triggers. Things would actually be triggering like goitrogens that can inhibit thyroid production. We got the inflammation down. We got to the root cause of the bloating, got you going to the bathroom daily. And then over the course of those 12 weeks, we added in specific healing herbs. We added in specific nutrients to support the anemia, to support, our stress, because stress, the gut health, all of those can throw our body out of a state of, I say when we have these diseases going on, it's our body in a state of not ease, chronic inflammation. So we worked on our stress. We worked on everything that would cause us to sleep, balancing out the gut. And then over those course, you actually were eating more food. And
Yeah.
we weren't even focused on weight loss because you had minimal to no energy to even train. We were just focusing on nutrients, stress, sleep, and gut. And by the end, we started getting that energy back. And I would love for you to share more about that. But you actually started losing weight and feeling better without even working up the working out and not even cutting our calories. We were eating more. Can you kind of share a little bit about what, like, how soon into the program you started feeling better and what you started noticing when we're taking this approach?
I'll say the biggest difference in that first week was actually the bloating, like just being gone, like virtually gone. And that was like the one of the biggest improvements. And still to this day, like even with my period, like you get your normal bloating that happens with everybody. Um, but yeah, I actually have not experienced like that again, which has been fantastic. Um, and my energy, yeah, my iron was so low during when we first started. And then I got the iron infusions, and that was a huge help. And eating more food, because you're always I feel like it's always the mindset or like being told that like no, you need to be in a calorie deficit. You need to like not eat. You need to focus on that. But like you're right, we did. We put in like macros where like I felt so full all the time and like not thinking about sugar
Like
because
craving.
yeah, my cravings went away when I was just focused on eating my protein and fiber, and fats. But yeah, I feel like that was huge for me and to finally start to lose weight on my own, I think. And then seeing when I started to get that little arm muscle, I was like, hey, Elizabeth,
Oh,
look at
yeah.
my little tiny baby muscle.
Oh, it's growing, girl. We grow in those muscles. I love it. And can you tell me a little bit about how, I mean, having this gut focused approach has helped with your anemia and your thyroid and like your energy?
Energy I don't know if I can properly explain to people that don't suffer from chronic anemia or chronic fatigue the feeling it like do you have that feeling of just like I said, standing in the shower to be too much. Like it's really hard to go through that, and I don't think people can understand sometimes like how like physically exhausting you can feel to and just not even want to get out of bed because you're that tired, no matter how much sleep you get. Like I was getting 8 hours of sleep a night. Um, so to be able to go for morning walks every single morning, to have that energy. Sometimes I don't want to get out of bed because my bed's so nice and comfy, but yeah, to go from that to like I have been adding in more weight training. I've even added in runs in the park. Like it's huge. It's huge.
I remember we were on one of our calls and you were like, I hit a PR in the gym, like I hit a new PR for my run time, like when the energy
Yeah.
is back.
Yeah.
The one thing that I see so much is that we want we have these autoimmune conditions and we have these health issues and thyroid issues and anemia and everything, and we want fat loss so much that we get on the internet and we go like best thing for fat loss. We start doing intermittent fasting, cutting our calories, and all of these things when we have these autoimmune, they backfire. They make us actually either gain weight or they make us hit chronic cravings, low energy. We don't lose weight. We're trying so hard because there are additional stressors on our body that increase the cortisol, the fight or flight response. So think about it, if you have no energy, your body's run down, you're in a chronic state of inflammation, then you push it harder, and then you're trying to push it in the gym, you're not even going to have the energy to have effective workouts. Now, like with you, we got the gut healed, we got the food added in, we worked on the stress, the sleep, we got everything aligned so that you actually have energy to train. You're actually able to push it. Your body's out of inflammation. And it's so scary because you're telling anyone, like I come from a past ED, add more food, eat more food when you want weight loss. Was that kind of something that was on your mind? What did you think when I was like, okay, we're going to eat more food. Don't worry about the working out.
I think I was just like a little confused at first, but I was like, she knows what she's doing. So I'm just going to trust. I'm going to trust the process.
That's the most important part. Like if you're going to a coach or you're going to a nutritionist, whoever it is, and you don't believe in them and you don't trust in it, you're going to be so stressed out about it and you're not going to get results. So that to me, like, thank you for trusting me because I truly just want to help people. I love you, babe.
I think after our first phone call was like, no, I'm so glad. Like, this is the right choice. Like, this was the best choice I've made this year.
Was that because I got your bloating away? That was because Tank's on the call too. And tell me a little bit. So now that you made it through my program, how has this impacted your quality life as opposed to where it was before?
My eating is on point, like for the most part. I say 95%. I prior to working with you, okay, I still don't exactly like cooking, but to have my meals prepped and not have to have that worry during the week of what I'm going to eat has been really good for me, I think. And also actually seeing where my calories are coming from. So, like, to have that like, oh, I'm going to eat this whole plate of, potatoes and protein and that, or I could have had like one small like meal, like takeout that is like twice as many calories and I'm not full. So I think just actually seeing like, you know, what foods can like the like to hit my macros, like what foods consist of, like, oh, I could have like three of these. I could have a handful of potatoes, or I could have, a bite of a donut.
Oh, so you learned a lot about the foods and how the
Yeah.
fuels your body.
Yeah, I really did. And, keeping it up, I meal prep every Sunday for the week. And my meal prep I remember that first couple of weeks I did it. I had like messaged you. I was like, Elizabeth, it took me like 6 hours. And you're like, what are you doing?
You're doing it wrong. What's going on?
Yeah.
Well, this is not the way
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah. But now I'm down to like 2 hours. So
For the
no,
whole week.
for the whole week, the entire week.
And you have all the people out here. I know we got a lot of busy individuals. You work a lot. So did you find that it was manageable with the meals, or did we make it overcomplicated? I know people think recipes and all this crazy stuff. I'm for less is more.
I think I overcomplicated it in the beginning because I was just like, no, I have to have different meals for like each meal. And, I was like, wasn't thinking like, no, just make two meals and then rotate those. Like we talked about. So yeah, I work 10 to 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, and, drum lessons and band practice and all that on top of it. So yeah, I'm very busy, and I don't know how like other people do. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how moms do it.
I say that you have to find an easy way of doing it. Like I'm all for when I was overweight, I tried buying all the produce, it all going bad, making all these meals. I felt discouraged. So
Yeah.
I find the way of we create that 5 ingredient meal. We keep it very simple. But the same thing too is when you feel good and you notice a difference and you see results, it's like you want to continue doing it. If
Yeah.
you're if you don't feel good on it and you're trying so hard and making all these meals, like you're gonna have no motivation and drive to want to freaking meal prep and stuff because you're not seeing results and you're working so hard. So it's about like you have to find what works for you, and everybody's body is so freaking different. Like it's
Yeah.
like look at all these different autoimmune things we got going on. We have people with PCOS, gastroparesis, SIBO. Like every client that I have is so different. I will tell you the number one thing though that every client with like autoimmune issues has, it's chronic constipation. That is our number one. Like throw poop emojis out there. I'm like, we have to get everyone going to the bathroom. If you are not feeling like it is a complete bowel movement, you are not having a good bowel movement. That is not normal. That is not good for our health. We got to eliminate these toxins.
Yeah, I know. It's awful. It's awful like how common that is.
Yeah.
It's like, and how much better you feel when you're not constipated. Like seriously.
Your anxiety goes away when you start pooping. Like literally.
Yeah, like your stomach feels so much better.
I know. And the doctors, they just want to put you on Miralax and Ducalax and Linzest and all those things. But like, how about we just figure out why we're having a constipation? We got
You
thyroid.
know, before we started, I just remember there were periods of time where I would be like eating Pepto all the time, like popping Pepto all the time because I was so bloated. Yeah, because of constipation too.
Yeah, and because of the thyroid and all of the gut. And
Yeah, yeah, man.
if someone was out there and they had similar issues with you, what advice would you give them if they were in your shoes?
Call you.
So I'm guessing you would recommend this program to somebody else with other health issues.
Yes, out of what 1 to 10, 1 million.
Oh, and I would say why? Why do you feel that?
I think because the minute we got off our phone call, because you even told me, because I was like, oh, I want to do your 90-day transformation. You're like, I think you're a better candidate for digestive coaching. Oh my God, she really listened to me. and you continue to listen to me. Like, even, when now that I finished, like, even now, I still message you and you still get, you still help me. Like, it means I'll get emotional because
Yeah,
to have somebody listen to you when you feel that low.
you're gonna make me cry.
See, you're gonna cry.
To know what it feels like. I struggled for so long with so many health issues, and I always told my parents, I'm like, first I want to be a vet, by the way, because I wanted to help animals. So I'm like, I can't deal with the blood. I'm like, I just don't want no one to feel bad anymore. And I swear, every doctor just made me feel like I was stupid. They made me feel like I had an issue. They made me feel like everything that I was struggling with was absolutely normal when I was in such chronic pain. And I don't want anyone to feel that way anymore. And I just like, I'm so honored that you came to me and you trusted me and you allowed me to take everything that I went through and everything I learned, and you put your faith in me to help you. And I'm just grateful for you because I'm so happy that you're feeling better. So happy that you're feeling better.
I'm grateful for you.
You have to do. Does this work on?
I
Oh,
don't know if it works on this end.
I,
I think
maybe it doesn't work on your FaceTime, but we do that. We do. Well, seriously, thank you so much for doing this for me today and sharing your story, because my whole thing is we have to help one person per day. And I just feel like sharing your story can show people that you can overcome chronic illness, you can achieve your goals. It's not through extremes, it's through getting your health back. So thank you for sharing that and hopping on this with me today.
Yeah, and I hope that if there's anybody out there that is struggling the way I did, I hope they hear my story and know that it can be changed. You can feel better